Yeah, yeah, ay, ay,
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl Karina. Um, Sorry for not being on time every Monday. I know we missed the 20th and the 3rd. The 20th, we had just gotten back from Vegas. We went to Vegas, we took a family trip to Vegas for a family wedding. It was great. It was awesome. It was my first time in Vegas. My first time in over a decade in an airplane. It was pretty fun though. It was pretty great. We went to different places, ate different foods. We even went to a private club, bar hopping. Like it was amazing. It was great. I would like to go back and just explore everything else that I didn't get to explore the first time. An excuse for the 27, honestly, we don't have one. It was just a crazy weekend on that week of Christmas. It was a lot of last minute things, a lot of cooking, a lot of baking, and it just, and on top of that, Jonathan still had to work. Like, it was just a lot. It was a lot. So hopefully we'll fix. No, wait, I'm tripping. We put out on the 27th, didn't we? Yeah, we put out on the 27th, but because that was a recording that was supposed to go out on the 20th, but sadly didn't. We missed the 3rd just because it's been a little crazy. A lot of people around us have been getting sick, and then Jonathan has been having to work overtime, and then me myself today. I don't feel sick, but my throat does feel a little weird. I haven't been going anywhere. I've been staying home. A little, I guess, quit my job. I want to do. I'm not gonna talk about it a lot, but there's something that I have planned and something that I have in mind that I want to do. And I'm gonna start doing that hopefully in within the next month or so. So yeah, we're just like I'm just taking a little break from working in the corporate world, working for the white man. I just want to do my own things. I think that's the only thing that's been new going on here. Just staying at home, cleaning, cooking, doing the whole housewife thing that I never really thought I was going to do. But let's see. So, oh yeah, I have created a Instagram page. So if you have been trying to reach out to me or to us, but don't know how, we do have an Instagram page, and it is called It Be Podcast. It's all together. It's that's a way where you can DM us and just talk about anything. Want me to talk about anything, or like just you want me to, I don't know, just say hello. Check it out. It's a public page, so you can keep up with every time a podcast comes out. I am gonna start posting little questions there, so y'all can tell me your point of view, or just so you can go and be like, this is how I felt about the podcast, whether you like it or not. Every feedback is welcome to us, whether you want to put it out in the post or if you just want to message me privately. And if you want me to talk about something and you don't want me to say your name, make sure you say you want to stay anonymous and stuff. But I think it's a great way to communicate with y'all. Jonathan did also make what's it called, a website where you can have our email, and if you want to email us, as well as like other different platforms that we play on, just in case you just want to hear us on something else. So we do have that. It is It Be Podcast, just like the name of our podcast is all together, no symbols, no spaces, none of that. It's all lowercase, I believe. Does that matter? I don't know if that matters, but I believe it's all lowercase. And you'll find that page. You'll find our personal page attached to that. If you already follow me on social media, then my link to that Instagram page should be somewhere in the bio for you to link into it. So that's pretty much it. Just a little, putting it out there. We have an Instagram page. You can go ahead and follow us. So now let's get into the real conversation. So a couple things that I do want to talk to y'all about today. It's just, some random blabbering that I sometimes have conversations with other people. And it's just like, I wonder how that will be in the podcast. So recently I was asked, is it a healthy relationship to want to leave the relationship after an argument? Like you feel like that argument was a ticket out, or is it not healthy to think like that? Honestly, I feel like to a certain extent it is a little healthy. Like, I think it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm done, I don't want to do this no more after a certain argument, because sometimes it's just like I think like it's just like, like kind of like your job. Like whenever your customer pisses you off, or an employee, or your boss or coworker, make you upset, you just want to get up and quit. But at the end of the day, that's a really good job. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing. I know it's different stuff, but I feel like it's the same thing when it comes to that. Just because it's like, just because you have an argument because your partner forgot to take the damn trash out, and y'all have a big old argument about it, on top of that stupid argument, and you feel like, you know what, I'm tired because they don't always take the trash out. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm just gonna leave them. Like, okay, first of all, I think that's too exaggerating. So it's just like, it was just a spurt of the moment. Like, you were just mad. Y'all said a couple things that shouldn't have been said, and that's why you want to dip. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's okay. Like, I don't know. I feel like the world has painted a certain way to and you know what? It might be crazy because I just watched Sex and the City, all technically 7 seasons, even though it's like 6 season, and then it's 6 season A, and then the 6 season B. But in whatever, if you love Sex and the City and you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just bear with me and see if you can understand what I'm saying. But I have watched Sex and the City, and yes, I am caught up with and just like that season, they talk about a lot about relationships. And one thing that I stuck with me the most was in the second movie of Sex and the City, when Carrie and Big finally got married, and they're going through little bumps or whatever, and they decided to do something in their marriage, and she's talking about it with her girlfriends, and one of the girlfriends, who is Charlotte, she says, "What, marriage doesn't work like that, because it's marriage. There's certain rules, there's certain expectations." And something that was said to her by Carrie was, every relationship is different. It does, like, what works for you doesn't work for everybody. So that got me thinking, like, I feel like sometimes we feel a certain way about our relationship, and it's like, oh, this is not how it's supposed to be just because society paints it like that. But in reality, there is no rule for relationship. There is no step by step on how to make a relationship work. A relationship works whatever it takes between those two people to make it work. Like, if, like, me per se, personally, sometimes I do get into arguments with Jonathan, and it's just like, you know what, this is it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. Like, this is my ticket way out. This is an argument. I'm just gonna throw in the towel and call it a day. But at the end of the day, it's just like, am I really doing that because I'm done, or I'm doing that because TikTok was like, if your man talks to you like this, you need to dump him and get you another man? Like, like, it's just, it's okay to not be like everybody else. Just because I don't feel like forgiving my man for I don't know, calling me out my name doesn't mean that you don't have to. That's just something that I don't want to do. You know, like, if you're okay with your man calling you out your name, like he's one of your girls calling you a bitch and ha ha ha, you stupid bitch, that's you. That's you. If y'all have an understanding that while y'all are playing around, y'all can talk to each other like y'all, then that's okay. Just for me, that's not okay. Like, I no. But that what makes it okay because that's your relationship. That has nothing to do with me. And it's just crazy because, like, how far are we really willing to go to have that perfect relationship? Like Charlotte, for example, her first marriage, she married him without having like sex with him first, which is totally fine. I'm not promoting sex before marriage. God no. If I mean hell, I can't because I've been having sex and I'm not even married. So I can't really say that. But she didn't want to have sex because you're not supposed to have sex before you get married. So she, even though she already like been having sex, I thought it was kind of funny because it's like, bitch, you been fucking. You're not supposed to fuck at all. Then at the end, she ended up marrying this man, and her marriage went down the drain because he couldn't get it up. So eventually, he ended up getting it up. They ended up divorcing because they didn't want the same things. And I feel like a lot of these relationships fail because we don't communicate. Like one of the biggest things that their marriage failed was because she wanted to have kids and he did. To a certain point, he did want to have kids. I don't really remember in details what happened where he realized that he didn't want to have any kids, and that's when their marriage fell apart. And that's really big on communicating, guys. Like a little, I guess, personal detail about me is for a really, really long time. I didn't know if I was going to be able to have kids. And as me and Jonathan, got a little bit more serious, and he's like, I want the marriage, I want the kids. And I was like, whoa, 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 like, hold on. First of all, because I don't want to get married. And second of all, because I don't know if I can have kids. So when I felt like it was the right time to have this conversation, I had this conversation with him, and I put all the cards on the table. Something that I felt like they should have talked about. Like Trey and Charlotte should have talked about. Obviously, it's the show, but that's where we get a lot of the shit from where, like, that we do. Like, there's a lot of people that I know that are doing stuff in their relationship that they don't want to be doing just because they don't speak up. So I don't think that's fair. So I spoke up and I told Jonathan, I was like, I don't know if I ever want to get married. I've never seen marriage in my life. And I don't know if I'd have kids. And I told him, I was like, if you feel like that's something that you need in your life, that you want to do, then you need to go with somebody else and find that somewhere else. Like, I'm not trying to be fucked up. But at the end of the day, I'm 26 years old. Like, I don't want to waste your time. I definitely don't want to waste my time because I am older than Jonathan by like almost 2 years. It's like a year and a half. So he's younger. You know what I mean? He still has a chance to meet somebody either his age, like around his age or whatever, that wants to have kids and does want to get married and like easily able to have kids and will, bend over backwards to marry the kid. So yeah, I feel like talking to him about, what I wanted and then hear what he wanted, we will, I guess, see what worked out for us. Cause like another part of that show, when Carrie met Aiden, and Aiden was ready to like give her the world, and she, loved it, but when it came down to marriage, like she couldn't even breathe. She was having panic attacks and anxiety, and she literally said yes to marrying him because she knew that that's what he wanted. And she believed that she loved him that much to the point where she would do that for him. But the thing is, like, I feel like at the end, you need to understand that that's a really big commitment. And if you are doing something for somebody because you love them, like, you can't hold that over their head. You can't be like, for example, the one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Jonathan was because I didn't want us to be like, let's just say, 40 years old, and he's like, well, I never got to have kids because you didn't want to have kids. And it's just like, well, first of all, I fucking told you that I didn't want to have kids, or that I couldn't have kids. Like, I didn't want him to somehow hate me because I didn't want to marry him, or like, I didn't want what we had for each other that was true loved ones to become hatred towards each other, or him towards me, because I didn't give him something that I didn't want to do either, or even that, end up marrying the kid to just be like, I never wanted to fucking marry you, I just married you because you wouldn't leave me alone about it. Like, so I felt like the right thing to do for me to do was to speak to him and be like, hey, I don't think I wanted to get married, and I don't know if I can have kids. And we talked it out, and he had said that he doesn't have to get married and he doesn't have to have kids. Like, he just wants to be with me. So we just kind of left that as that. I did feel kind of shitty because it's just like, damn, like, he's willing to give up having kids and being married, something that he wanted to do for me. So I feel like he's compromising too much for me. In the beginning, like, I think we were like a year in when we had this conversation. We're about to be 4 years now. So now we're engaged. So I guess the question is, why did you say yes if you said that you didn't want to get married? Well, because me and him have an agreement on it. I guess you can say an agreement. I was like, how do you have an agreement? It's a fucking relationship. Well, this is how our relationship works. Okay? That's the whole point of the story. We're getting older. Hopefully, I pray that we're growing wiser, and we're learning stuff that works for us. Like, who says that we have to be married? I've known some, and I'm not saying this because other people are doing it. I'm just saying it because it's a fucking possibility. How many people have had kids and married and houses and businesses with their partners and never been fucking married? And never been, like, my mother-in-law, she brought up to my attention something that I truly didn't think about before. She brought up to my attention and was like, it's just easier for legal purposes. If he dies and you're not married, you can literally not get anything. If you have kids, you're gonna be on with your kids. Okay, that's understandable. If me and him ever get a divorce, everything that's under his name is his, and it's gonna be hard for me to fight it because blah blah blah. Okay, I get it. Like, I get it. I haven't thought about that shit. I haven't even, like, that's something that I didn't think about. So that she got me thinking. So now I'm thinking, like, I understand that I might not want to get married, but this is a smart thing to not get married. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to marry him for his money. Like, I said yes to because to a certain extent, I don't see myself with anybody else but him. And I've said that before to him. Like, way before he asked me to marry him, I was just like, you're literally the only person I've ever thought about marriage. Like, if I had to marry somebody, it would literally be him. I probably won't. And, like, if me and Jonathan get married and we don't make it and we get a fucking divorce, I'm gonna be like, this is why I didn't want to get fucking married, and I'm definitely not getting married again. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I just think I don't think it's pointless, but sometimes I do think it's pointless to get married just because how I grew up, and it's shitty to say, but every marriage that I grew up with has ended up in a divorce. And it's always because the man cheated. Like, honestly, all my tias and tios that have fucking gotten into divorce is because she either cheated or he fucking either cheated. And it's just like, what's the whole point? Like, what's the point of marrying? Like, they were married for years, have kids and shit. And it's like, you're going to put all this shit through divorce? I don't know. I might be negative Nancy, but that's the way that I think. now. I am more open minded about marriage now, as of now, because of Jonathan. And then the whole kid situation is like, damn, it did start to become a lot for me because, he used to mention like kids a lot. And then we would joke around about our kids. And then his mom has a thing where she always asks me, she goes straight to my stomach and it's like, is there any babies in there? And it's just like, girl. So it did became a little bit too much. Just like, oh shit, like if this is what you are expecting out of me, I don't know. And it's not like it's not like I don't want to have kids. I just don't know if I could because I've always had issues in the reproductive system with my reproductive system. So like I just didn't know. And eventually, I don't know, got really everybody got tired of me saying I don't know if I can have kids. So eventually I went to the doctor on the 29th of November. And there's still tests that I gotta do. It's not 100% sure, but it seems like I will be able to get pregnant just with a certain amount of like a certain medication, and on top of that, I don't know. Do I sound fat? Because I'm fat, so he recommended for me to lose some weight as well, which I already knew that was coming. So the possibility of me able to have kids is out there. It is a possibility for me to have kids. So then the next step is like, damn, I don't know if I want to have kids. Just because I went through so much about, I don't know, like, I guess you can say like, if I would have been to be pregnant, I should have been pregnant like 2 years ago, or fuck it, 3 years ago. I should have been like already done, had a kid with this man, but I haven't. So I kind of came like after there was a couple pregnancy scares. There's a couple negative tests, and every time I took a test and it came negative, it just like it will break my heart a little bit more. So eventually, I just said, you know what? I am done with the test. I can't get pregnant, and it's okay. Like I made myself okay with the fact of I'm not gonna be able to have kids ever without knowing first, without being checked out and looked at and shit by a gynecologist. Like I just straight up to myself, bitch, you just can't get pregnant. It's okay. Like what I used to beat up myself about it because I did grow up religious. I thought to myself and said, "Bitch, you are a woman. You were put in this earth to reproduce, to keep the world going. That's the main thing you were put in this world for, and that's the main thing. That's the one thing you can't fucking do. So it's like, what the fuck am I here for? I can't even make babies. So what am I here for? Taking up space in the world." So I was like, I used to beat up myself about it a lot. But then I thought about it. Okay, like women cannot just have kids. Women do a lot of things in this world to make the world keep going round. So it's just like I'm just one of those women that cannot have kids, but I have another reason on why I'm in this world, and that is okay. So I got myself so like okay with the point that I couldn't have kids, that now that I have the possibility that I can have kids, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I want kids now. Like I made myself okay with not having kids. So now I'm just like, I don't know if I want kids. And even Jonathan himself don't know if he wants kids anymore. Because I am, like it's just I don't know, it's weird. I guess we'll just, figure out when it gets there. I guess later down the line, if like to see if we were decide to have kids, so we're just gonna be all of our friends, aunties and uncles' kids, and that they're gonna be our kids. Like my nieces and nephews, his nieces and nephews, our friends' kids. You know what I mean? We're gonna be that power couple that fucking travels all over the world and just brings shit from all over the world to the kids that are in our lives from somebody else. Like I think that'd be cool. Like, why do we have to have kids? And I think, like, I know a lot of people are gonna be upset that I'm not gonna have kids. But at the end of the day, it's what makes my relationship works. And then at the end, that's what we got to that's what we got to remember. At the end of the day, it's like nobody else is in the relationship but you and that person. Unless you're that, you're in a triple, then that's you. Hey, I thought about that. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't really think it's for us. Like there's just so many different things anybody can do in a relationship make it work. Like I just talk to your partner. Just communicate with your partner. I feel like that's the biggest thing that you can do when it comes to a relationship is communicate. I believe communication is a really, 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 really big thing. And seeing that show of Sex and the City, those 4 women, they're all different women. They have different expectations of relationship, but one thing that they failed to do the most was to communicate. It's a TV show, yes, I know, but let's be real. A lot of our shit, we don't communicate because nobody else fucking communicates. I used to be just like that. I wouldn't communicate. You piss me off, I'm done. Don't talk to me. Don't come around. Don't call me until I call you. As a matter of fact, you might not even hear from me for 3 fucking days. Ask Jonathan. Now, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm a bad bitch. No, like, that's how I used to be. Whenever he would piss me off, he wouldn't hear from me for hours. Shit, fucking even days sometimes. Because I wouldn't communicate. So it's like, I wouldn't talk to you for 3 days. For what? The day that I talk, the third, fourth day that I actually talk to you, we gonna have to talk about that. So how about you just calm the fuck down and fucking talk? There's no reason, and I know because I do it, but there's no reason to get loud. There's no reason to be disrespectful, and there's no reason whatsoever to put hands on each other at all. Because sometimes we really do take out our anger out on our partners over some bullshit that happened outside these damn doors. If some bullshit happened outside these damn 4 walls, that shit shouldn't come into your home and fuck with you and your partner at all. Like, it just shouldn't. It just shouldn't. And if something frustrated you, like one thing that I do personally is like whenever I had this other job that stressed me the fuck out, and I will tell him, it's like, and I will text him. I will mainly text him and be like, I am feeling really shitty right now. I'm just gonna drive around, or I'm outside, I need a minute, don't talk to me. Or I just give him a heads up because I didn't want to take my anger out on him about something he had nothing to do with. And I learned to do that by communicating. If we don't communicate with each other, we're never gonna know unless you're a fucking mind reader shit, because I sure ain't. And communication is not just important in a relationship, but communication is important in everywhere. Friendships, family, like really big. Okay, so just think about that. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up, but just think about that. Okay, and you let me know. Like y'all let me know on y'all reach out to me on Instagram. Remember, the name is It Be Podcast, and y'all let me know if y'all think it is healthy to think that after an argument. So after every argument y'all have, or after certain arguments, you're like, you know what, I'm done. This is my way out. I should just end it. Do you think that's healthy? Do you do that in your relationship? Because me personally, I do. I don't know about Jonathan. I personally sometimes after certain arguments, it's like, you know what, this is it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to pack my shit and dip. But at the end of the day, that's just me when I'm heated. Because when I come down and really think about it and we talk, I don't want to. Like, I don't really want to. Sometimes when we're in arguments, we just got to think about why we're still there. And if that reason is still a good reason on why you're hanging out, then I believe that you should keep fighting for your relationship. But if that reason doesn't even give you a reason to smile for anymore, then I guess you should leave your relationship. But let me know what you think. Just reach out to me if you want to talk to me about, if you want to talk about something else, if you want me to talk about this and go in deeper, let me know. I'm always down to talk. Remember, my name is our podcast name on Instagram is It Be Podcast. So hopefully I get to hear from some of y'all. We keep growing. We get more listeners, and I appreciate it. So I guess I'll talk to you later. Y'all stay safe. Wear masks. Please wear masks. It's very important. I'm not gonna push the vaccine because we'll talk about that on another episode. But if you're vaccinated, if you don't want to get vaccinated, if you're thinking about getting vaccinated, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're wearing your mask. Make sure your hand sanitizer, because COVID has not reached our home. Hopefully, not again. We did have COVID last year, but it has touched my family's home. So just please be careful, and y'all take care. Okay, I'll talk to y'all next Monday. Bye.